Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wolf Game Theory once again, TGIF. I am Layer Cake, and this is
Neil Bottle.
And here we're going to do the rundown today. Today is Friday. We are going to start with Crypto Corey. As always, it seems from day one, as soon as G Money relinquished spot number one after they went hot and heavy in the beginning, Corey has had a firm grip on the first place position. Then we're going to go to Team G Money. What's up? That's ours. Followed by Panther. Again, the real Crypto Corey coach. Wongsworth, AJ Vandercheck, Woolish 1026, just some guy, and Johnny Moo will round out the top half of the order. The real story lies in the actions, though. The action in the community was hot and heavy all week, with Panther and Corey going back and forth, trading blows over Twitter, with the real Crypto Corey losing all of his fortifications to Panther and his suspected alliances down the line. But Panther has succumbed to the powers that be recently, whereas early this morning, the real crypto coach launched an attack, reducing Panther by 3%. We actually suffered an attack as well this morning by the anonymous pack, this Anon pack as it has become to known, who hasn't sort of uttered a peep throughout this whole
Corey.
at all. I mean, Corey. Yeah, right? That would be, oh gosh, could you imagine? Could you imagine this was like a separate wallet, total mercenary army, the dark army of the dead? Owned by Crypto Corey? I don't know.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, though, ladies and gentlemen. Heard it here first. We then have a fortification by Lord Fenrir. Is that how you pronounce that? Lord Fenrir?
Yeah, I think so. It's actually comes from a wolf of Norse mythology, which was, but I'm not too sure how you say it. Yeah, but I thought that was quite awesome, actually.
Fenrir. Maybe, actually, I believe we're going to have him on the show, so maybe he can, or she can tell us how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I hope so. There's going to be a moment for something. I think we're working on it. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Something's brewing with that guy, huh? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they've been moving up the charts a little bit, just in numbers, and there are whispers in the hills, so we'll see. We then have the Shamdu, who seems to have a clear alliance with Crypto Corey because he attacked the Panther, reducing again by 3%. We then have a fortification by Friend 721, then a Corey attack again on Panther. So we have 3 attacks. It's 9%. It's almost 10% of the points have been taken away from Panther.
Keep it coming. It's keeping us above. It's keeping them below 1 million. It's keeping G Money above 1 million. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Something's happening here. I know. Then we have fortification by Wongsworth, who now is officially laying in the cut. I thought G Money was laying in the cut. Wongsworth is seriously laying in the cut. This guy is just hanging back, doing his thing, chugging along, and just posting. He is posting up. So watch out for Wongsworth. He's not to be fucked with. Then we have a fortification, again, by Malcode. So the interesting thing about this chart, if we go up to first place and second place, and third place, we'll notice that the points of Panther are below G Money, but G Money still has 2 fortification, whereas the teams above and below have 0. There's 38 more wolves in Panther's team than G Money, and there's 2 million more wool, and there is about 23,000 more sheep. So it's really interesting. That is super interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
They have pretty much more of everything except for points and fortifications.
Because they just keep getting pummeled.
They just keep getting pummeled. Them and Corey just keep going at it, It's, whatevs, man. Whatevs.
So just looking at the next actions then, we haven't got any actions for 3 hours, and then Johnny Mo. Be interesting to see what he does this time.
No doubt.
Then followed in by Woolish in 5 hours. In 9 hours, we've an action by Panther. Then in 10 hours, just some guy, and the rest are kind of, that 1 day mark, apart from G Money, who gets his actions just before that mark in 15 hours. But it's looking healthy.
I'm kind of scared of Geronimo. I think he might
attack on G Money. Loose cannon, who knows?
I mean, if he's smart, he'd hit Longsworth. Longsworth has 4 fortifications. Like I said, he's rolling in the cut, that guy. He has 4 fortifications. Okay, anyway. Let's move on. I don't want to spend too much time. It makes me nervous just looking at it.
So I was thinking today we'd run through the website and just kind of do a bit of a dive in just to navigate around it for people who aren't used to it. I'll just bring us back to the home screen here. Wolf.game. So this is where the journey begins. So at the moment we're in a kind of alpha game, which is an interim game before the main launch, where we can use our land and we can use our farmers. But so you can read the alpha game white paper straight from here or on the top. But that's just for the current game, which is probably 2 months. But a lot of these can be ignored for new players, like Migrate. Migrate is for the old contract where we had the problems with the exposure. So it's for the old contract where we have problems with the contract and it needed to be migrated on. So this is where if you had an NFT that you minted initially or bought before that migration in Risky Game, this is where you would migrate that over. They'll appear in Legacy and you can select them and then choose to migrate them over. And I might let Laircake take on Risky Game and just explain that tab for us. But again, that's one that most people it's not applicable for.
Right, exactly. These are just basically, it's like a time capsule of the sort of stages we've had. So Risky Game was the interim before we sort of came over to where we are now. And it was actually supposed to be drawn out into a full sort of multi-week game, but because of the exploit, they kind of smushed it into one action, which was basically all the wool that you had staked in the beginning of the game. You had a choice to either put it in a pouch and have it sort of vest over 4 years at a drip rate, or you could take those winnings and you can roll the dice in what was called the Risky Game. And as you can see over there on the screen, there's a sheep sitting at a table with a wolf. And you have these committed sheep, all the sheep that you wanted to play the Risky Game. You didn't have to play all your sheep. You could play a certain number of them. You could play all of them. Or like I did, you could play none of them. And then you would just have secured all of your staking earnings on the other side to play. Whereby if you risked, then you would have had a pretty substantially larger bag if you had won the Risky Game. I believe there was around 7,700 sheep that actually played the Risky Game. And the prize pool, I believe, was 1,879,510,788 wool that was distributed. Well, that was a big number to say.
Yeah,
my math
I'm
teacher
impressed.
From 6th grade would be proud.
Yeah. So and then
it was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was amazing. And when you got those pouches, they appear on the website in wool pouches. And then this tab is where if you buy them on OpenSea or you happen to win one, or in the future from Alpha Game, that's where a lot of the new people will get to see their pouches. But you can also, what was introduced was this new feature of selecting all and claiming all in one go, which that's pretty epic in my opinion. So that's definitely my favorite tab.
So, if you're new to sort of playing games with your NFTs, this is sort of where Web3 differs from Web2. So basically, in order to get on the site, if you have Wolf Game assets, you would connect your wallet to the site. You know, if you were to, let's rewind, if you were to come to this site normally, you might just see wool pouches and it would be empty. But if you connect your wallet, then your wool pouches would immediately be displayed and you can commit an action on the site with your NFT while it's safely secured in your wallet.
And that moves on to the land tab, which we see here. This is where they moved a lot of the information to do with the main game. And I suppose if I scroll down, you can see, so that originally Generation 0 were able to claim land, and most of that's been claimed. And then the land sale, which was a Dutch auction at the time, which you can still pick up land for cheaper than it was originally on sale at the top of the Dutch auction, which I still find interesting. I find that a very interesting point, that the Shep was willing to put them at that such a high price that he felt he was able to provide enough value at the top of that Dutch auction for people at 0.69. Am I right?
Yeah. That's when it started.
And then this was also the tab where you could claim your farmers or mint your farmers with wool, but he cut that short, which was an interesting move, which I like. I'm very bullish on farmers.
Is there still land attached to some sheep?
It appears so, according to this.
Look at that. There's some alpha.
But I did hear that there was a problem with this counter. So, because it does say that there is 9,900 deeds claimed, but that doesn't. The red should be a little bit further, I think, if that's the case. You know, I claimed mine anyway. There's no NFTs claimable, unfortunately.
Yeah, I claimed mine as well.
Yeah. So we then have the alpha game tab, and which we're familiar with on the show. We've shown you enough, I think. The white paper is white paper 1. It's good for a read, but it's not applicable to anything that's happening at the moment. You want to read version 2 and the alpha game to realize what's going on at the moment, but version 2 is where it's at, with version 3 having a more kind of robust information about what we can do with our land and what we can do with our farmers, because there's bits up in the air at the moment still. We do know that land will have a function to produce something, and we know that farmers will multiply those actions and maybe have some more functions themselves. But what's your views on that?
On land
and farmers and like the main game, like getting away from alpha game.
Man, I don't know. I mean, it's so hard because it seems every time I feel like I have something figured out, it's not correct. So it's hard for me to even want to speculate anymore, just based on all the speculation that we've done so far. But I don't know. I think that, we're going to see more decentralized mechanisms be introduced. So maybe even some different ones that we're used to now.
Yeah.
And I think that the land is going to provide us with both sort of the story, which is like, what the land produces and the regions and the terrain, but also it's going to provide us with those sort of mechanisms for return. And that's the part which really excites me, is how they sort of weave in and out of the fantasy and the real, and farmers, for that matter. Just the whole thing is like really setting up for this sort of like, the word Farmville always comes to my mind only because of the, you take 1 or 2 actions a day, and I feel like that's where we're going to be going. But I also feel like passive income is going to be something that people like us and people that have been in this game for a while, that maybe own a lot of assets or can lend these assets out to other people. I think the passive income factor is what I'm potentially most excited about, is being able to incorporate other players into my land or my team or whatever, you know what I mean? And just kind of see what the different utilities of the farmers and land do and how they interact with each other. And maybe they'll be trading, whereas my farmer is good for your land and your farmer is good for my land, so maybe we can trade, or, you know, something like that. I see that in other communities happening, you know.
Yeah, and just
also
something I just brought up to
mechanism.
to kind of just to run off what you were saying there was a word that was mentioned by he who shall not be mentioned was sharecropping. So this is an agricultural use that dates back thousands of years, but there's three main options to take away from this kind of what was said, which is workers can rent plots of land from the owner for a certain sum and keep their whole crop. So in terms of wolf game, that would be we have our land, and that other people with wool can come onto our land, pay us a fee, and take whatever, just use the land, like rent it from us, essentially. Number two is workers work on the land for a fixed wage, and the landowner keeps some of the crop, and they keep the rest. So you're paying them, and they also get some crop. And then number three is no money changes hands, but the worker and the landowner each get a share of the crop. So this is what I would imagine that our scenario would be number three, where you know, maybe they stake on your land and you get a share of what their sheep or their farmer or whatever it is, the item is, even their wool, and you get a share of what the production would be off that. But how that works in terms of land, can you marry them together? You know, what brings someone going to someone's land? Is it like just a larger scale of alpha game? You know what I mean? Just on a mass scale with like 20,000 teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, what I was thinking about was like, you know, there's other mechanisms in other games that or other P2E platforms that we both are privy to, whereby what if, this is a big what if, obviously, because we're playing this game right now, but what if you could take farmers and stack them on top of each other, you know, and make a more powerful farmer or a higher yielding farmer? So, you know, everybody's assuming that like, oh, well, you know, I don't need land, I have a farmer and I can go share crop. But what if you could just stack your farmer and make like a super farmer? You know, like it takes 5, or it takes 5 seems to be the magic number these days with that sort of mechanism. But yeah, you combine certain farmers together or a type of farmer together, and you can make a mega farmer or a super farmer.
Yeah. I don't know. Like that definitely sounds kind of like Pixel Vault Sidekick vibes. What they're doing. I like the idea of stacking, but I don't know if Shep will do that. I think he's going to go down the rarity route. Yep. And I think you're going to have the likes of robot farmers with high production. So maybe a 5x on your land. You know what I mean? Like robots, they can keep going. Right. Then you might have your zombies, or you might have different... One idea that I heard come out that I was really interested by, but was the thought that farmers would be connected to attributes of your land. So you might need a farmer that is actually categorized as a miner because you have stone and gold. Now, we don't know if they're going to introduce this many tokens or assets, but maybe gold comes as an actual NFT, you know, like an 1155. Is that what it is? An 1155?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, you can just stack these up, and maybe they're worth a lot. Like, you know, maybe your land only has 40 to produce over 4 years, you know what I mean? But you might need one of those items to build something that ups your production or ups the manufacturing of something that you're getting off your land somewhere else. Because an interesting game in terms of P2E is Gala games have a whole Farmville setup, you know, and it's very similar to Farmville. They do have the NFTs, but it's very much a grind. You grind on that game, and it's not the same tokenomics at all as Wolf Game. But it will be interesting to see what they introduce in the main game, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, how are wolves going to fit into all this? Are they just going to rule the Badlands? And I mean, obviously, they're not going to be like running around town, you know? Like, I don't think it's. And I'm picturing a little more civilized of a society. Yeah, I mean, at least what I see when we see like the cinematography on the site, it looks fairly sort of modern. Whereby I don't think the wolves will be just rolling around the farmer's market randomly, you know. I don't think we're gonna have a wolf attack, you know, like.
Because Corey keeps on offering safe passage on his land, but like I don't know if that's gonna be a function, you know. It doesn't sound like a function to me. That you can chop and choose who you're going to be able to help out or, you know, not attack. You know, when the first game was released, you were stealing everyone's sheep. You didn't get to choose anybody. That was opted out.
Right. I think a lot of people also need to sort of let go of that idea of sort of having the world view like we do. Like, I don't think we're gonna like be able to move our character around the map and stake it, and like I think the interface has been pretty consistent in how it's gonna be presented to us that actions will be taken.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we're gonna be able to, like, you know, it's not gonna be like Nintendo, and it's not gonna be like, you know, a traditional sort of console video game. I think it's gonna be much more of like a storyboard sort of role play kind of Dungeons and Dragons kind of feel, where you have the set of scenarios, and this is what happens, and this is the choice you make to further the gameplay for yourself. But I don't think, you know, a lot of people need to sort of get rid of that idea of having it be a, you know, because a lot of people that are trying to come in and play the game are like, well, how do I do this? What's happening? You know, like, where's the guy that I move around, and where's the board? And so, anyway, that'll come in good time. I think, you know, being first to the party, you know, some of the things that you're gonna have to sacrifice is that sort of learning curve and that adaptive curve that you're gonna have to provide for people.
For sure, I get that. Yeah. So just moving on to there was a interesting tweets out from Bernard Mueller, who is the doxed the herdsman for Wolf Game, and he's auditing the contracts. So it's definitely worth a read. It's a bit long in terms of Twitter, but I really enjoyed having the read of it. The basic rundown is that it will. He just goes into how he goes about his auditing and how it's not strictly as a kind of usual thing, which allows the project to progress more quickly in his terms. And then he doesn't like to release the code, instead likes to do a write-up on interesting parts, which he makes good reasons for everything. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Did you read it yourself?
You know, I haven't gotten a chance, to be honest, to read the whole thing. I didn't realize it was a long as long as it was. I thought it was just one tweet, so yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and read that. But Bernard is just, I mean, he is sort of my parachute for this game. He makes me feel just really warm and fuzzy inside and happy and tucked in, and you know, he makes me just feel like I'm safe. You know, having somebody like that who knows how to convey the idea, and then, I mean, clearly knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Is just really great. And, you know, if we can, maybe we'll have him on the show, and
that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd really love that. We'll have to reach out to him soon when maybe he's not as busy as he is now, but like, you know, once the main game launches and things have calmed down, and hopefully, you know, we've a bit of a bigger audience, and, you know, it'd be great to have him on. It really would. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I will take a quick look at our floor prices before we go off. I have seen a lot of arbitrage on the Wolves the last few days. I've seen a lot of people buying and putting them up and making 0.8 or 0.5, just doing some arbitrage, because these guys are dropping down. Like, there's some bargains to be had. There's no doubt about it. We see our sheep have pulled back up. We're back over in ETH. Land is still very much a bargain, in my opinion. Under 0.5 for land, under 0.6 for farmers are buys.
Absolutely.
Wool pouches, no comment. And we are coming back up to the 20 cent mark. You know, we went up to 25. We dipped back down. I'll just bring it up here. Yeah, we've had a little bit of action. I think some really healthy action, you know, like on some lines I've drawn. It's definitely found support, return to the mean. And I think we're ready to skyrocket again, in my opinion.
Ooh, hot take. We need a drop for that. Maybe just have that like Elmo meme pop up. Yeah, no, that looks, I mean, again, I just love this chart, man. Really. It's like, if you're gonna teach a class on what a great chart it looks like, I mean, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, and like we were talking earlier on, I think like you can see the hype cycles around here. Just on a smaller scale, comes up another hype cycle, you know, like steady growth, hype cycle, return to the mean. Bit of sideways action, must have been an announcement around here, and then alpha game launches around here, and then hype cycle and return to the mean. And this has been the cycle we see consistently, you know what I mean? But it's healthy, and it doesn't drop below the levels. It does what you think it's going to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you've been in it as long as we have, I think that, you know, you've got a pretty good sample size on how to play wool as of right now. I mean, we've seen it all. You know, we've seen the rise, we've seen the hype, we've seen the fall, we've seen the lowest of the low, and then the highest of the high, and back down again. And so we've been almost through like a full hype cycle.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, if we can sustain, it's great to see, because, you know, in the beginning we're all talking about going to 50 cents, and we're talking about, you know, and we did it. So it's really just, you know, it's hard not to have a sense of accomplishment being in the community and just seeing it all come to fruition like this. You know, the main game is going to be bonkers.
Oh, for sure. Right. And on that note, we will leave you guys. So don't forget to comment, give us a like, and let us know what you want to hear. You know, I suppose we have some exciting interviews coming up this week. We're meant to have Jay Steezy on tonight, but he's feeling a bit unwell, so we're definitely hoping to have him on this weekend. We've Brian hitting us up on Monday. We've Just Some Guy. We've Johnny Moe. You know, there's a lot of excitement. I think we might even mash up some of these guests. I think that might be fun. You know?
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. But let us know who you want to see. Tag them when we post something on Twitter, and, you know, let's get this out there. Right.
Yeah, let's do it. Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday. Good night and good luck.
Peace.